from last two lectures, we started with this material balance involving reactions, and I think in the first lecture, I introduced you with general terminologies of the stuff related to material balance, where reaction will be involved, and stoichiometry. And then in the last lecture, we discussed few terms which will be related to reaction, or when you apply the balance on reaction system, you will come across some terminologies. And I think 3-4 terminologies we have already discussed. If you remember, one was, I think, limiting reactant, excess reactant, and based on that calculation of excess amount of reactant, one reactant which is in excess is percent excess. Then there was conversion, and after that, do you remember anything?
सर हमने बस वो आखिरी में सिलेक्टिविटी पढ़ा था और लेक्चर एंड किया था.
Selectivity, exactly. So again, I will continue with the same stuff for selectivity and yield. Roll number 12 is here. 12. 12. Are you here? No. Okay. Yes, another thing was related to extent of reaction, to calculate extent, and then we said that we can apply the maximum extent of reaction to calculate or to look for which one is limiting and which one is excess reactant. Again, this is in continuation of last lecture. So selectivity and yield, if you remember, at the end there was one slide where I showed you just two equations, and I talked about briefly about selectivity. So here when we go for selectivity and yield, and today I think we have to, at the end we have to solve one problem which consists of number of steps, and all these concepts which are covered in these two lectures, they will be applied. Those concepts will be applied in that numerical, which will involve, I think, most of these concepts. By next lecture, maybe at the end of today's lecture or by next lecture tomorrow, then we will switch to something called material balance by using elements as well as components, and hope so will solve some problems. So here when we go for selectivity and yield, if you remember from last lecture, anyone asking something?
सर जी रोल नंबर 12 बोल रहे हैं.
ओके, मैं असल में पूछना चाह रहा था कि उस दिन रोल नंबर 12 हैज सम कंसर्न रिलेटेड टू एक्सटेंट, सॉरी, एक्सेस एंड देन आई थिंक कन्वर्जन. तो आपका वो इशू क्लियर हुआ या नहीं? मैंने कहा था थोड़ा उसको बाद में पढ़ना. 12. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही मुझे. अब एंड पे ही आप वेट करना, डिस्कस कर लेना स्टिल अगर कोई इशू है तो, अदरवाइज हम नेक्स्ट अब कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं. सो here whenever you bring some reactants close to each other, your basic purpose is to produce some product. But you guys know that at the same time, when we are producing any product, some other products are also produced, which we usually call them as a like byproduct, something which we are not looking for, but that is also produced in some reaction, so that's named as a byproduct. So whenever byproducts are produced, are the products which we are not looking for, and they are also produced from the reactants, then what happens actually as a result of this, there are two things occur. First thing, that for example, we were looking to produce some specific product, and if other products are also produced at the same time, so that means that your actual product amount will be reduced, or you can say that less amount of desired product is produced, because the reason your reactants are also consumed to produce other products which you were not looking for. And at the same time, another problem occurs that whenever you are producing one product and along with that other products are also produced, so in that case what will happen, that you will come across the problem of purification or separation, because at the end your purpose is to get one product which is your desired product, all other undesired product you have to separate them. So two problem occur which are called separation as well as purification problem, and less amount of desired product. So whenever scientists work on these things, they develop such catalysts so that you can get maximum of your product and less or minimum number of your undesired products. So related to these some terminologies, when products more than one are being produced, then you have to look at these selectivity and yield. For example, here is one reaction to give you more clear idea that we can produce ethylene from ethane by dehydrogenation reaction. यही कहते हैं ना इसको? Is it hydrogenation or dehydrogenation?
Dehydrogenation.
Dehydrogenation means removal of hydrogen from something. So here we are actually removing hydrogen, we are making it like unsaturated molecule. So ethylene is produced, but at the same time, but you see that this is the major reaction that you have to produce ethylene from ethane. But what happens at the same time, for example, this reaction can also occurs at the same time, that your reactant start reacting with the hydrogen which was released as a as a result of first reaction, your desired reaction, and it starts producing methane. Now methane, you were not looking for methane because you were supposed to produce ethylene only. So in that case, that's one undesired product. So what will happen here? One thing you can see that your reactant which was ethane, that was supposed to produce only ethylene, that is also consumed to produce some methane. As a result of this, your reactant is lost in some undesired product. So one molecule which is lost here, which is being consumed to produce methane, that was supposed to produce ethylene. So that's the loss of your product which you were looking for. At the same time, another reaction can also occur. For example, this ethylene can also react with the ethane to form propylene and methane. This reaction occur. What happens here in this reaction, you can see that your reactant, which was major reactant, which was available in the reaction system, that can even react with the product at the same time, and they are producing something new. Here propylene and methane. So you can observe here that overall, first reaction is desirable, which is your requirement, but two other reactions are also taking place at the same time. So if you look at the second reaction, which is given here, in second reaction, actually our reactant is consumed. When reactant is consumed, so I already told you that this will reduce the amount of desired product because your reactant is being consumed to produce something else. As well, in the third reaction, you can see that both reactant and product are being consumed. So in such reactions, there is the loss of your product which you were looking for, as well as here you will face the problem of separation. You have to separate all these methane, ethane, and ethylene, propylene, hydrogen, all these you have to separate. So that's another cost. So how you define selectivity now? Selectivity and yield are always used to when you have or you are describing such reaction when there is a desired reaction and at the same time there are also competing side reaction, or you can call them undesired reaction. So when they are taking place, then we define these terminologies, selectivity and yield. So selectivity already discussed, we have discussed it very briefly last time. So that's you can define when you say selectivity. So selectivity is something which is our desired product or amount of the desired product and its ratio with the moles or amount of any undesired product. If I go back to the last slide and I ask you, okay, for example, here, what is our desired product in these reactions? Can you tell me what was your desired product?
Sir, C2H4. Ethylene.
Ethylene. So ethylene here, C2H4 is our desired product. Now if I ask you to find the selectivity of ethylene with respect to any undesired product, how many undesired product we are producing here?
Two.
Which one?
Sir, methane and
propylene and methane. Yes, these are two undesired products. So sometime in some question, you can do such calculation that you are asked to find selectivity of your product with respect to all undesired product. When I say with respect to all undesired product, it's mean here in denominator of the equation, which was the equation of selectivity, you will take the mole of all, for example, methane as well as propylene. Here there are only two. But for some time you do some calculation somewhere in reaction system when you are designing the reactor, and you have to find the selectivity of your product with respect to only one byproduct. For example, I ask you only to find selectivity of ethylene with respect to methane only. So in that case, you will divide, or you will be using this terminology, mean mole of desired product, which is our ethylene, divided by moles of methane only. But if you have to consider all the byproduct, it depends maybe on your requirement, wherever you have to use that, but are in which terms you are looking for selectivity. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So selectivity mean to be selective mean is like similarly something its name indicates. So you have to do such calculation that how much selective your process is. I think I gave you one example last time that, for example, somewhere 100 moles of your desired product are produced and 25 moles of undesired product are produced. So you can say like it is 100 over 25 mean 4:1, or mean if you convert it into the percentage, it will be like 20 mean something. No, I think here one mistake I'm realizing. Usually we don't report selectivity in percentage. I will correct it. Mostly what you do usually just write your answer in the terms of ratio between the moles. Mostly it is not multiplied with the 100. I will just correct it. Okay, just you write that. I think at the end of the day, when we solve the problem, you will also realize this, that this is mole of the product divided by moles of undesired product. Next is yield. Okay, please don't start reading it, because otherwise you will not give attention to me. One thing, let me tell you before we go to this definition, yield, there is not only one formula for yield. Yield is defined based on, and there are number of definitions. If you go to your textbook, I think you can find 3 definitions for yield. One side of the product, this definition, or if you look at the equation, here that yield is mole of the desired product form. This is common for all. In any definition, anywhere you are considering, there will be one thing that's common one, that mole of the desired product. But the denominator side, that is always different. Sometimes you just report yield in terms of mole of desired product, anything which is produced, divided by mole of any reactant entering to the system. Sometimes you decide it, or you define it based on mole of product produced divided by moles of something called limiting reactant. And the third one definition, which is provided here, and this is most commonly used, that based on the 100% conversion. That whenever you consider 100% conversion, and 100% conversion is for limiting reactant, so in that case you just define it. Yield is commonly defined as moles of desired product divided by theoretical or expected amount of the product that can be produced based on limiting reactant in the chemical reaction. If you remember from the last lecture, we discussed this, that I think the last problem which we solved, that was about the product, any product, how much maximum product it can be produced. Do you remember that? That was depending on the number of moles of limiting reactant. Do you remember this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whenever the moles are not same, like one is one reactant is limiting and other is excess, in that case the maximum product which can be produced, that depends on the amount of limiting reactant. So here we are defining the yield, that moles of any product produced or formed in any reaction. For example, 50 moles are produced, but divide किससे करना है, divided by the maximum number of moles of that product which can be produced. And here there are two restrictions on this. That first one, no side reaction. for example, if I am looking for this here, the maximum number of mole of C2H4, if I am looking for maximum number of mole of C2H4 that can be produced, this will depend on the reactant, and here there is only one reactant, so we can't say something limiting or excess. So it is the only one reactant, and that will be treated as a like limited at the same time, क्योंकि एक ही reactant है तो एक ही reactant पे ही depend करेगा. If there were two, then we have to look for which one is excess and which one is limiting. So in this case, if I am defining, I am looking for yield. For example, let me tell you, if you have 100 moles of ethane entering to the system, so what do you think, what can be the maximum amount of C2H4 which can be produced from this reaction?
100 moles.
100 moles.
Everyone agrees?
Yes, sir.
Because we are saying
Yes,
that
sir.
maximum, it will depend on the amount of reactant, and if it is maximum consumed in this reaction, all reactant is consumed in only this reaction, no side reaction, so then 100 will be produced. But so in that case, if you calculate the yield, so what should be the yield of this reaction?
100%.
100 divided by 100, so it will be like 1. If you report it in the percentage, it will be 100% yield. But most of the time, again, in this, actually in your textbook and other book, in one of those, they refer it or report it in terms of 100% or like in form of percentage, but most of the time they just write it in the form of ratios. So here, if I just write it in the form of ratio, it will be mole of desired product divided by moles that would be formed if there is no side reaction, and the limiting reactant were consumed completely. Because we have only one reactant, we are considering that as a limiting, and we are saying that its 100 moles are consumed. So from equation, you guys can see that it will be 100 over 100. But sometime if it is also going in other reactions, for example, here it was 100 mole, and we say let's consider that 80 mole are consumed in first reaction, and then 10 mole are consumed in second, and 10 mole are consumed in the third. So now in that case, how you will find it, or what will be the answer? Let me repeat it. 100 mole of ethane are entering to the system. 80 mole of ethane are consumed in first reaction, and then 20 mole are consumed in other undesired reaction. So can you find the yield now? What will be the yield?
0.8.
0.8.
0.8.
So
0.8, sir.
how 0.8? Because you guys will say how much product is produced. Product is 80 is being produced in the first reaction, because we said that 80 mole are consumed in the first reaction. So it is 80 divided by is maximum. How much is possible? That is 100. So it is 80 over 100. So that's fine. Okay, good. So one thing here, as I discussed in the first case, I told you guys that all 100 mole of ethane are converted to ethylene. So you guys said that it will be 100 mole divided by 100 mole, and yield will be 1 or maybe 100%. So in the second case, we discussed that it is 80 over 100. So that is less than 1. That is 0.8 or 80%, you can say. So that's something here he is going to talk about this, that actual yield in a reaction usually does not equal to the theoretical yield predicted from the chemical reaction. What does these terminologies mean? Actual yield. So what comes to your mind when he is saying actual yield? You guys just studied
जो produce हो रही होती है.
जो produce होती है.
Yeah, which is produced as a result
जो
of
produce हो रही होती है.
which is actually occurring, which is actually being produced in the reaction which you are measuring in a practically, like that is actual, and theoretical which you just do based on such calculation. For example, you guys did the calculation based on this equation, and you found that only one reaction, first reaction will take place, and it should be 1. But at the end of the day, 2 other reactions are also taking place. So your actual yield will be less than the predicted yield or theoretically calculated yield. So here he explained the various reasons behind that. First reason is which you guys know and provided here at the third point is the side reactions. Mean you guys can tell this very quickly because we just discussed that overall yield can go down, yield will reduce. For example, it was 1 initially and that then we said it go to a 8 or 0.8. That's reason is the side reaction. What are other reasons provided here? For example, if you guys take the reactants and they also contain some impurities, so in that case definitely your actual yield will not be equal to theoretical yield. What does these mean, impurities? For example, can you give me some example for this, the case which we discussed for ethylene?
Air.
Okay guys, look, for example, here your reactant was the example which we discussed. What was your reactant, major reactant?
Ethylene.
No,
Ethyl.
ethylene is a product. I think ethane is the reactant because a
Yes, sir.
dehydrogenation of ethane is taking place and you are producing ethylene. So what is ethane is your main major reactant. So for example, you take the 100 mole of ethane, but that is not actually 100. You measured 100, but for example, if it already contain, for example, methane or propane, mean other hydrocarbons are also there, then its amount will be less. So definitely when reactions take place, it will produce less product. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The second is leaks to the environment. What does this mean?
गैसेस होती हैं वो आपके नहीं
Yes,
रहती होगी जाती हैं
sometimes yes, there can be leakage. For example, you are bringing 100 mole, but there is a leakage in your system. So that's the you brought 100 mole, but some amount if it is leaked, so overall product will be reduced. And here the thing is that your reactant are in less amount. In the first case, which is like impurities, actual reactant are in the less amount. In second case, reactant are lost to the environment due to leakage. So that's the reason. Third, you already discussed that if side reaction take place, in the third case your amount is complete. For example, it is pure 100%, there is no impurity, there is no leakage, but what happened, the third step happened that some side reaction take place. And then the fourth case, reversible reactions. I think you are well aware about these reversible reactions. What does this mean?
सर प्रोडक्ट एक साथ रिएक्ट करके रिएक्टेंट कन्वर्ट हो जाएंगे
कंप्लीशन ही नहीं होती सर रिएक्शन की कंप्लीट
Yes, so actually, for example, you guys were supposed to convert 100 mole of ethane to ethylene, but reaction starts going back. So that's not reversible. All reactions are not reversible, but all those reactions which are reversible, in those cases you will not have actual yield and theoretical yield equal, because what will happen, your products start going back to the reactants. That's called reversible reaction. So due to all these reasons, your actual yield will not be equal to mostly theoretical yield. So up to here, if you have any question, please.
सर वो yield explain कर दें.
जी.
Yield for side reactions.
Anything else?
No sir.
Right, yield is something we are calling. देखिए yield एक फैक्टर है जिसको कैलकुलेट किया जाता है जब हम चाह रहे होते हैं कि जब एक से ज़्यादा रिएक्शन किसी सिस्टम में हो रहे हो, ना भी हो रहे हो तब भी, अगर हो रहे हो तब भी, yield एक पैरामीटर है. आप लोग काफ़ी दफ़ा आगे एक्चुअली ये सारी ना टर्मिनोलॉजीज हैं, सिलेक्टिविटी, yield, कन्वर्जन, एक्सेस, जो कुछ भी पढ़ रहे हैं हम पिछले 2 लेक्चर से. तो yield कहीं पे लिखा होगा, अब आप लोग क्वेश्चन पढ़ोगे तो वहाँ पे लिखा होगा कि the yield of this product, for example, is 80%, or yield of this product is 0.8. So what does that mean? You should know that what is the definition of yield. The definition of yield is simply that's something, mole of that product which you are looking for, or which are produced as a result of reaction, moles of that product divided by moles which will be produced if there is no side reaction, as well as all of your reactant is consumed. Mean, what does that denominator side mean? If you can look at the equation, that means the maximum achievable or maximum which can be achieved theoretically, that's the amount of product. And I give you the example of this ethylene production, that ethane is dehydrogenation take place and ethane is being produced. So I gave you various number, for example, that in those cases you guys can use those number. If 100 mole were supposed to be produced and they are also produced at the same time, so 100 over 100, it gives you the yield of 1 or in 100%. And if 80 are consumed, 80 are produced, but maximum were supposed to be produced 100 because the reactant was 100 mole. So in that case it is like 80%. So that's reduced, that is not equal to the maximum amount. And then we discussed here the various reasons that why it is not equal to the maximum amount. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Like, did you join late or?
सर मुझे डिनोमिनेटर की समझ नहीं आ रही थी.
अब क्लियर हो गया?
Yes, sir.
Right, here is one problem, as I asked you guys that we will have one problem which will discuss all these concepts. So some scientists, they have published a paper here, the title and those things are given, describe the sum of the chemistry of alkyl chlorides. So in that paper they discuss that there are two reactions of our interest. For example, these are the reaction. C3H6 reacts with the chlorine and it produces C3H5Cl plus HCl. This is one reaction. We can call it reaction 1. And in the second reaction, C3H6 reacts with the chlorine and it produces C3H6Cl2. The species recovered after the reaction takes place for some time are listed in the table on next page. So here up to here, actually what you are provided are the two reactions. Two reactions are taking place somewhere, and he said that species recovered after the reaction take place for some time. For example, this reaction occurs for 1 hour and after that you have collected the data, the amount of some of these chemicals, they are provided in some table. You guys can see here the table based on the product distribution in table. If the feed consisted only of Cl2 and C3H4, calculate the following. Before we calculate the following, just look at the table. Can you guys see one table which is providing species and amounts of in moles?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here there are, I think, 6. Yes, out of these 5 chemicals are given, and out of these 5, 2 are actually your reactants, chlorine and C3H6, and all other are being produced as a result of reaction. You have seen the reaction on the last slide. So all these terms are the amounts which are given here. They are at the outlet of the reactor. Remember this. They are not inlet, they are at the outlet of the reactor. And one thing which he has provided here at the start of this slide, that the feed consists of only chlorine and C3H6. So it's mean all other are not available at the inlet. Only 2 chemicals are available at the inlet of the reactor. Now he asks us to calculate number of turns. First part is how much Cl2 and C3H6 were fed to the reactor in gram mole. Let me quickly go through these steps and then I will jump to the solution or its discussion. So first step, you guys are supposed to find what was the amount of chlorine and C3H6 at the inlet of the reactor. The second is what was the limiting reactant. Third is what was excess reactant. And then there is fraction, what was the fractional conversion of C3H6 to this some chemical. You have to calculate conversion. And then there is part about selectivity. What was the selectivity of this C3H5Cl relative to C3H6Cl2. And then there is yield. You have to find the yield of C3H5Cl expressed in gram with respect to the C3H6 fed to the reactor. And then at the end of the day you have to find extent. So all those concepts which you discuss in these last 2 lectures are covered here, or you have to apply those. So do you understand the question that these are the 2 reactions which are taking place, and he has provided you only the amounts at the outlet of reactor. So for first part, if we have to solve it, can you tell me how you can calculate it?
Number of moles equal to given mass over molar mass.
Given mass is nothing here. only you guys have mole at the outlet of the reactor. First of all, what should you do is to because here he is asking to find how much Cl2 and C3H6 were fed to the reactor. That means you have to calculate something at the inlet of the reactor, at the input of reactor. The best thing is, first of all, you should draw the diagram and try to apply here the material balance for first part, and then the other parts are just journal based on the definition or equations which we discussed. You can calculate them and you can do that calculation. So for example, okay guys, can you tell me if we don't solve first part, can we solve part 2 and 3? Part B and C, can we solve it?
नो सर,
No,
हमारे
no.
पास इनपुट नहीं है.
नो सर, इनपुट नहीं होगी.
Okay,
नो सर, इनपुट नहीं.
first of all, you guys have to tell the limiting and excess reactant how you will find B and C.
Extent of reaction, sir.
Extent only or maximum extent?
Maximum
extent.
extent.
Extend says.
Yes, maximum extent. So guys, one thing here, I think all should be attentive before we discuss this. I think in the last lecture, in last time, I told you guys that you can find limiting and excess based on the criteria which you studied in FSC. And most of the time you guys have only one reaction, and you can easily see that which one is limiting, and how we used to see that based on the ratio of moles and compare it with the stoichiometric equation. Understand this? We discussed this last time in detail. So other way than we discussed that you guys can use or can calculate the maximum extent of all reactant, and then you have to sort out which one has the minimum value for maximum extent, and that will be limiting. So here in that case, if you remember last two numerical which we discussed last lecture, so you are supposed to have inlet amounts. Because you don't have inlet amounts here, outlet amounts are there at the end of the reactor, but at the inlet you don't have, so you can't solve until unless you find the first part, which is A part. Okay, so let's find that how you can do that. For this, can you see next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here we have to use like it is better to first of all draw the diagram. I think it's clear to you.
Yes, sir, clear.
Yes,
So
sir. Clear.
in the reactor, first of all, before proceeding for anything, I just draw the diagram. Why I draw? I will also ask you. I already used to ask you that whenever you read some question, it's better to draw some diagram, so that you can get the clear idea. For example, here when we draw the diagram, we can see that there are two reactants are entering to this system. So out of those two reactants, so here at the end of the reactor you have 5 streams or 5 chemicals are there, and in this reactor at the inlet we don't know the amounts. Due to this I put the question mark, and for outlet you guys know that what are their amounts. From where these amounts came, by the way?
Table.
Yes, they were given in one table.
Mein,
So all those who don't know, they were given in the question in the table. So I have written directly those values, and they are all in gram mole. So I didn't put again and again gram mole. I have just put this equal sign, that gram mole is the unit for all of these, and they are given in the question. So these are two reaction. I have given the name as a 1 and 2. Reaction 1, the first reaction was given in the book, and the second, like the second reaction. Up to here, I think that's the simple thing which is given to you in the table. Now in the table and in the question and in the statement, that's everything which I have put here. The next is it's better also to write the basis, which I just quickly forgot to write here under the diagram. I was supposed to write the basis of this question. Whenever you are solving any question of material balance, it's fine, it's better to go with some basis. You already studied, this was one of the steps. If you even skip it sometime, that's fine, but because we studied that helps sometime. समवेयर मीन जहाँ पे ज़रूरी होगा आप फिर भूल जाओगे, तो इसलिए बेहतर है कि आप लिखा करो। तो इसकी बेसिस वी कैन राइट बेस्ड ऑन एनीथिंग विच इज़ गिवन हेयर विच इज़ प्रोवाइडेड एज अ प्रोडक्ट. For example, in the product stream or the outlet stream, any of these values you can take it as a basis. Fine. Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the first part now in the question? A part was to find the amount of chlorine and this it have propylene at the inlet. This was the question, I think. So how you can find this amount? When you look at the diagram, you have to find anything at the inlet and you have only at the outlet. So can I apply directly input is equal to output? Hello?
No.
No, sir.
Why?
Consumption हुई है,
No,
reaction
sir.
हुई है. Reaction हुई
Consumption
है.
and generation.
Yes, good.
कंजप्शन हो रही है.
Exactly, good. This is the first problem which is involving actually the reaction and material balance. First problem in this A part, you are involving the material balance. So first of all, I wrote due to this complete equation of material balance, and that was accumulation is equal to input plus generation minus output minus consumption. So out of those, now you have to find input, and I think you have the value at output. So these two terms will stay there definitely. What about other? What about accumulation?
Zero.
Did he talk about something is accumulated in the reactor or stays in the reactor? Anything? No.
No, sir.
This student is telling accumulation is zero. What about generation?
Zero, sir.
Why?
No, sir.
सर जनरेशन जीरो नहीं होगी.
हाँ,
जनरेशन तो हो रही है.
क्यों जनरेशन? एक मिनट जनरेशन क्या होती है? जनरेशन के डेफिनेशन याद है? व्हाट वाज जनरेशन?
सर जो हम इनपुट देते हैं उसमें से जो चीज प्रोड्यूस होती है.
कंजम्पशन ऑफ रिएक्टेंट्स.
No, consumption is something else. बच्चे generation, generate, produce.
सर जो हमने
सर आउटपुट जो मिल रहा है.
सिस्टम में जो कंपोनेंट्स प्रिपेयर होते हैं सर.
One minute here. First of all should keep in mind that we are discussing only chlorine now, because we are going to apply balance on the chlorine and C3H6. So this should be in your mind first of all. It is the balance equation for chlorine. Okay, I wrote at the start here chlorine and C3H6 at the inlet. So I'm talking about chlorine. Now tell me, I think everyone is clear about this, that there is no accumulation of chlorine in the reactor. Does anyone has any issue on this? I think no, because no one is talking. Okay, then at the inlet chlorine is there. Definitely chlorine will enter to the reactor. That we are supposed to find, because this is taking part in the reaction. Due to this, it will be the part of input. So this term will stay here. Generation. Now will generation term stay here, or it will become zero? Can you guys, first of all, it is necessary that you should know the definition of generation. So if you remember, we studied generation, anything which is produced as a result of reaction, anything which is generated during reaction. Is chlorine being produced in any reaction?
Yes, sir.
क्लोरीन कहाँ प्रोड्यूस हो रही है बच्चे?
No,
मुझे
sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
क्लोरीन कहीं भी प्रोड्यूस नहीं हो रही गाइस. क्लोरीन इज ओनली बीइंग कंज्यूम, नॉट प्रोड्यूस. प्रोड्यूस यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? मुझे कोई एग्जांपल दे सकता है? व्हाट इज प्रोड्यूस इन दीज रिएक्शन?
Sir, HCl.
Chloride.
All those things which are written on the right side of the arrow signs, they are produced. So they are products.
Yes,
Chlorine is not produced. I think the student who said it is generated is clear now. Okay, everyone is clear. Hopefully generation will become zero. Output, yes, it is available at output, so we will keep this term. What about consumption? Is it consumed in the reactions? Chlorine is consumed in the reaction or not?
Yes, sir. It is consumed.
Yes.
Consumed means taking part in the reaction. Definitely chlorine is part of both reactants. You guys can see in both reaction it is a reactant, it is being used, so consumption will stay here. Based on that, I have written here equation. Next equation, you can see that input is equal to output plus consumption. I have just rearranged this equation. Accumulation and generation, we have discussed that they become zero. Okay, now this is your equation which you can use for calculation of chlorine at input. So which value do you know out of these? Input, you have to find. Output, do you know this value?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Where it is given in the table, it was given, its amount is given. What about consumption? How much it is consumed in the reactions, in reaction 1 and 2? Do you know this? Do you know?
No,
You
sir.
don't know. But can you calculate by looking at the reaction equations?
Yes, sir.
How we can calculate? Let me tell you. For example, if I have to calculate, you guys did a lot this in FSC. For example, if you know that if I know amount of any product produced here, that is produced as a result of reaction, and that is coming at the outlet. For example, look at HCl. Does HCl comes from the inlet or it is produced in the reaction?
Sir, it is produced in the reaction.
In the reaction.
For example, it is being produced from some reaction, and if we know the amount of this, can we link it with the chlorine, that how much chlorine was consumed to produce this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely you can do this. So based on that, I have discussed here that we can find the consumption of both, consumption of chlorine in both reactions 1 and 2. So for first reaction, for example, if I calculate, I think you guys can see I'm at this step that I am calculating the chlorine consumed in first reaction, and that will be based on any product which is produced as a result of first reaction. So you guys can see, for example, if I take HCl or C3H5Cl, so how many moles of C3H5Cl are produced? They are given that they are 4.6. All those who don't know from where they came, they are given in the diagram. You can see that C3H5Cl or HCl, 4.6 mole of each are available. They have equal moles at the outlet. So from where they are produced as a result of first reaction. So from here we can use this information that when 4.6 moles of C3HCl H5Cl are produced, we can link it with the main stoichiometric ratio, and this we studied in the first lecture when we started this topic, that you can link the 1 mole of C3H5Cl produced at that time, how many mole of chlorine are consumed. That's the 1 mole. That's the stoichiometric ratio, that 1 mole of Cl2 versus 1 mole of C3H5Cl. And from where this ratio came, by the way? This is based on stoichiometric equation, the reaction equation. You can see that 1 mole of Cl2 versus 1 mole of C3H5Cl at the top of the slide. Now you can see, I think, first reaction. So that's a stoichiometric ratio. When I will multiply with this, the mole of C3H5Cl cancel with the mole of C3HCl5, and you will get the moles of Cl2. So that's the how many mole of Cl2 are consumed in the first reaction. They are 4.6. Now if you calculate based on HCl, that will also become same. That will also be the same value. So that's the first one. Clear?
Yes,
Anyone
sir.
has any question here?
No, sir, it's clear.
Yes, just very similar. You guys used to do in FSC. You used to use unity method. So this is the same unity method. That, for example, you look at the reaction. Okay, 1 mole of chlorine is consumed when 1 mole of C3H5Cl is produced. And how many mole of Cl2 will be consumed when 4.6 mole of C3H5Cl are consumed? So that's same thing. The second one here in chlorine consumed in the second reaction. So can you tell, can we calculate this based on the given information? Yes, because you know the product produced in the second reaction is only one, C3H6Cl2. So in that case, in order to, we know its amount, so we can use that amount. That, for example, here you can see from the equation that when there is a 1 mole of C3H6Cl2 is produced in the second reaction, you consume only 1 mole of chlorine, and in the product, in the outlet of the reactor, you are given that there are 24.5 mole of C3H6Cl2. So how many mole of chlorine are consumed is equal to the same amount, 24.5, given here at the end. I calculated that chlorine consumed is equal to, based on 24.5 mole of C3H6Cl2, and in that, when 1 mole of this, 1 mole of chlorine is consumed, and you can find. So I think till this you are done with this. You can go back to the equation, which was input is equal to output plus consumption. So let me go back to जी सर
पहली इक्वेशन है उसमें HCl भी तो प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, तो उसमें
सर
भी
आप
CL
किसी भी बेस पे कैलकुलेट करेंगे ना, आप अब जरा FSC फिर क्लास में वापस जाएं और वहां जाके ये कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ के आइएगा। एक की बेस पे किया जाता है ना, किसी भी एक की बेस पे। मैं ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था कि कोई और क्वेश्चन करेगा, कमल कमाली साजिद से नहीं।
कोई नहीं सर,
हो जाता है। खैर बच्चे आप ना, मैं ये सोच रहा था कोई ना कोई यही कहेगा कि सर इधर तो HCl भी, तो आप ये देखो ना, क्लोरीन का 1 मोल जब कंज्यूम होता है तो ये दोनों प्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं, ना कि अलग-अलग। तो इनमें से किसी एक को यूज किया जा सकता है और क्लोरीन को कैलकुलेट किया जाएगा, ना कि दोनों को, क्योंकि क्लोरीन इज स्प्लिट हियर इन बोथ।
जी सर।
Okay, good. So you can come back to the equation. So here equation was input is equal to output plus consumption. Consumption, here I have written it split, like consumption in the first reaction, this 1, plus consumption in the second reaction. So input you are supposed to find, output this was given is 141, plus consumption in the first reaction was 4.6, plus consumption in the second reaction was 24.5. So overall amount of Cl2 at the input is calculated as 170.1 gram mole. Any question till here? So now I think, can you guys apply the balance on C3H6 quickly? What will be the equation for C3H6? If you write the initial equation, accumulation is equal to input minus output plus generation minus consumption. So which terms will be neglected?
Generation and accumulation.
Again, generation and accumulation, because nothing is here generated, and as well as no accumulation, so only you will have the equation as a input is equal to output plus consumption. So I have written here for you consumption in both reaction. I have already written it split, because it is being consumed in both of the reaction. So what information you have now? You are supposed to find the input. You have output value that is given in the question. So you have to calculate actually consumption in the reaction 1 and reaction 2 again. So can you do this calculation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's the same thing which we already did. We calculated consumption for Cl2. So similarly, I am calculating here consumption of C3H6. So C3H6 is consumption in reaction 1. That can be again calculated either based on HCl or C3H5Cl. So that will be the same thing, because if you go back to the equation, you guys can see that when 1 mole of this is being produced, C3H5Cl, 1 mole of C3H6 is consumed. So at the same time here, you guys can even use this ratio which we are using of reactant and products. This ratio can also be used of chlorine, or reactants, because you already know that now how much chlorine in the first step you already calculated that how much amount of chlorine was consumed in first reaction. That was 4.6 mole of chlorine. So you can use here the ratio between chlorine and C3H6. It is not necessary always to use the ratios between reactant and product. So if you know one of the reactant and you are looking for other reactant, you can also use that ratio. So that will also give you the same answer at the end, 4.6 mole ही आएगा, चाहे HCl से करो, चाहे Cl2 से इसका आंसर निकालो, या C3H5Cl से करो. और इसी तरह दूसरे रिएक्शन में क्या है आपके पास, in the second reaction you have similarly that is the only one product which you have, so that is 24.5 moles and against 1 mole of C3H6Cl2, 1 mole of C3H6 is consumed. I, by the way, didn't mention here produced and consumed, so you can write those for clarity if you are concerned. स्पेशली उन क्वेश्चन में जहाँ पे प्रोड्यूस भी हो रही होती है कोई चीज़, कंज्यूम भी. यहाँ पे तो चलो क्लोरीन जस्ट कंज्यूम ही हो रहा है या C3H6 कंज्यूम ही हो रहा है. तो इन ऑर्डर टू अवॉइड confusion in those other questions, you can write here complete answer, complete sentence, 1 mole of C3H6 for example consumed. So again you have calculated here the amount of both reactions mean which consume C3H6, the amount of C3H6 consumed in both of the reactions, so you can put in the equation and can find the value, and that's like calculated here, the similar one. This 651 is the output which is already given in the question main, and this is a first reaction, this is as a result of second reaction. So any question up to here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, good. So
No, sir.
अभी तक part first solve हुआ है, A part we have solved that. So let's go back to the question, and you can see that the first part was how much Cl2 and C3H3 were fed to the reactor. Fed mean they are at the inlet entering to the reactor. So this you have already calculated this in these two steps. I mean A step is done. Now what about B and C step? Are they together or separate steps?
Together.
Together. What we will calculate?
Sir, together.
Yes, we can calculate the maximum extent of both reactants, and from that the one which will have less value of maximum extent will give us the limiting reactant, and other will be excess. So let's do that calculation. So from here you can see that in order to find the limiting and excess reactant, we have to find maximum extent for both reactants. So you guys know that for max extent formula you already know. So that was Ni minus Ni naught, number of mole of something at the outlet or at the end of the reaction, minus number of mole at the inlet divided by coefficient in the equation. So one thing here, very interesting, like, okay, you guys when calculate maximum extent, so what you considered, what is the amount at outlet? I'm asking you guys. That's
0.
हाँ जी, बाकियों का क्या ख्याल है?
सर 0 ही है.
सर 0 होता है.
किसी को नहीं पता तो पिछला लेक्चर पे पढ़ा था वो दोबारा जाके पढ़ना, ठीक है? बहरहाल वहाँ पे
0 होता है.
मैक्सिमम एक्सटेंट जब कैलकुलेट की जाती है तो यू टेक एट द आउटलेट दैट वैल्यू इज 0 माइनस. Do you know the inlet amount? Do you know the inlet amount?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अभी फाइंड किया. One is inlet amount divided by coefficient. By the way, here this part I was talking about this. That's the interesting thing. Here there are two reactions. So what do you think? What value should be used? Of coefficient divided by is the coefficient, mean based on the equation. So which value should be used in that case?
Maximum, sir.
You guys can see these equations, they have same coefficient. Okay, in here the reaction are displayed in front of you. Both reaction, if you take any of these reaction, they have the same value of extent. Okay, so that is 1 for the chlorine. So because this is reactant, so we will take -1. So now the one thing here which is homework for you is you guys have to look for those reaction where some reactant is involved in more than one reaction and their coefficients are different. If they are not same, then how to proceed? This is your homework for this week. You have to look for this and provide me the answer. Okay, everyone understands?
सर दोबारा बताइएगा सर एक दफा.
मैं ये बता रहा हूँ, ये मैक्सिमम एक्सटेंट अभी कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं ना. मैक्सिमम एक्सटेंट किसी भी रिएक्टेंट के लिए कैलकुलेट किया जाता है. नंबर ऑफ मोल चाहिए होते हैं, वो हमें पता है. आउटलेट पे हमेशा हम 0 कंसीडर करते हैं, इनलेट पे हमें पता होने चाहिए. मैं कह रहा हूँ डिवाइडेड बाय आपने करना होता है ये कोफिशिएंट बेस्ड ऑन द इक्वेशन, दिस इज कॉल्ड स्टाइकोमेट्रिक कोफिशिएंट। अभी जो केस सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, इन दिस केस दिस रिएक्टेंट क्लोरीन इज इन्वॉल्वड इन बोथ ऑफ द रिएक्शन, and in both of the reaction extent this coefficient is same, that is -1 क्लोरीन का, क्योंकि दोनों केसेस में 1 ही है वैल्यू। हाँ, अब क्वेश्चन मेरा ये था, ये होमवर्क आप लोगों का, कि अगर आपके पास कुछ ऐसे रिएक्शंस आ जाएं जहाँ पे ये कोफिशिएंट एक में 1 हो, सपोज दूसरे में 2 हो, व्हेन कोफिशिएंट इज डिफरेंट इन बोथ ऑफ द रिएक्शन, देन हाउ टू प्रोसीड विद दिस। So right here it is -1, so we have calculated maximum extent for chlorine. So next maximum extent for propylene, so that's also mean at the outlet you have to consider 0, and at inlet you have just calculated divided by, again for this means stoichiometric coefficient is -1 because in both of the equation we have same value, so that's the 680. So based on these values of maximum extent, which one should be limiting now?
Cl2.
Why?
सर उसकी वैल्यू छोटी है,
उसका maximum extent min
value of maximum extent is small for chlorine, so one with the small value of this is limiting and other is excess, so it is decided already, you know, you have to remember this, we discussed this last time. Next, fourth part was to calculate fractional conversion. Let me go back and read that statement. So the fourth part, mean B and C are done, because when you have decided, you can write which one is extent and which one is limiting based on maximum extent. Next, what was the fractional conversion of C3H6 to C3H5Cl? So do you remember what was the definition of conversion?
Yes, sir.
For conversion, fractional conversion.
Number of moles feed over number of moles actual.
Number of moles reacted over number of moles fed.
Just input.
Input.
Yes, sir.
Basically, number of mole reacted over number of mole entering to the system. Now here, when I am looking for this, you have to find fractional conversion of not chlorine, one of the reactant. He asked you C3H6, and one thing he mentioned here, to C3H5Cl. So here, what I think that you should only look for the conversion based on first reaction, because you see here it is being consumed. But what I did here when I was solving, I did it total overall. I said that how many moles of C3H6 are entering and how many moles are reacting. So total mole, how many were reacting in the system. So we just calculated here that total moles consumed, and I have done here, look, come here, fractional conversion of propylene, that is mole reacted over mole entered in the system. This is last lecture, in that we discussed this main formula. So moles reacted in the first reaction, 4.6 mole reacted, in second 24.5 divided by 680. So based on that you can find fractional conversion. But he asked in the question, he mentioned based on C3H5Cl. What does that mean? He was talking about only first reaction, that fractional conversion of C3H6 in first reaction. So what I should then use here? Can anyone tell?
4.6.
Yes, it should be only 4.6, because I am calculating based on both reaction, but based on statement it should be only based on one reactant, one reaction, because if you look at the statement, go back and look, he said fractional conversion of C3H6 to C3H5Cl. So when it was produced in C3H5Cl, because it is produced in only first reaction, so it is better to use or do calculation based on the first reaction only. So it will be 4.6 divided by overall entering, because this is produced in the system, so divided by वही रहेगा, सिर्फ टॉप की वैल्यू चेंज, तो ये इसको ना करेक्ट कर लेंगे हम लोगों ने। नेक्स्ट, ये डी क्लियर है?
सर आपकी आवाज कट रही है।
सर ये 45 का माइक म्यूट करवाइए।
45 को बंद करें।
कौन है जिसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, तो काइंडली आप लोग अपने माइक म्यूट कर लें। हाँ, आई थिंक अब म्यूट ही है।
सर अब आप अपनी बात रिपीट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि वो काफ़ी डिस्टॉर्शन उसकी वजह से क्रिएट हो रही थी।
सर वो कह रहा था, ये यहाँ पे मैं इसको डिस्कस कर रहा था ना, चौथे पार्ट को, फ्रैक्शनल कन्वर्जन का फार्मूला आपको पता चल गया था।
यस सर।
मोल्स एंटेड टू द मोल रिएक्टेड टू द मोल्स एंटेड, तो वही बताया है कि मैंने यहाँ पे जो किया हुआ है, टोटल मोल जो इसके रिएक्ट हुए हैं वो 2 रिएक्शन में हुए हैं, तो उसकी टोटल अमाउंट डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल एंट्री इनटू द सिस्टम। ये आपको स्लाइड शो हो रही है, तो आप देख सकते हो कि मैंने जब डी पार्ट लिखा है तो मैंने बोथ रिएक्टिंग इन द बोथ रिएक्शन, बट व्हाट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट यू शुड ओनली डू कैलकुलेशन बेस्ड ऑन फर्स्ट रिएक्शन, because in the statement he mentioned that fractional conversion of C3H6 based on C3H5Cl, और वो सिर्फ फर्स्ट रिएक्शन में प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है। तो आप लोगों को ये करना चाहिए 4.6 डिवाइडेड बाय 680। ओके
ओके सर।
right. E part is about selectivity. So if you go back, what is asked here in the question, what was the selectivity of C3H5Cl relative to C3H6Cl2? Selectivity, you guys just studied that this is usually the ratio between one of the desired product to the number of mole of undesired product, and he has told you here the selectivity of C3H5Cl relative to C3H6Cl2. What does that mean? You have to find the mole of C3H5Cl to the mole of C3H6Cl2. So can you tell me what will be the value here by looking at the table? आपके सामने ही हैं values.
4.6 divided by 24.5.
Yes, simple. Selectivity is 4.6 mole of C3H5Cl to the 24.5 moles of C3H6Cl2. So because we just studied at the start of this lecture कि selectivity क्या होता है, this is ratio between the moles of desired product, and he didn't mention here desire or undesired, he directly told you that ratio, take the selectivity of C3H5Cl with respect to C3H6Cl2. So I have written here the selectivity as a ratio between the mole 4.6 to the 24.5, and will mention here because I'm not presenting it in the form of like percentage or anything. He said you have to write relative to the other stuff, so just write the values. Okay, number सिर्फ simplify हो जाएंगे, and you will write mole of C3H5Cl to the mole of C3H6Cl2. This was E part. And I think in F part he asked you to find what is yield of this. What is yield of C3H5Cl? This is one of the product expressed in gram of C3H5Cl to the gram of C3H6 fed to the reactor. So guys, do you remember what was yield a few minutes back we discussed? That
Yes,
was I told you that there are the different definitions. So that is based on maybe limiting reactant, maybe that can be based on the reactant fed to the system, maybe based on the 100% conversion of the limiting reactant. So when nothing is mentioned, you can use any of those definitions. But here he has asked you actually to find the moles of product which is C3H5Cl produced with respect to the excess reactant, because C3H6 is excess reactant. So, and he asks you that you have to use units instead of mole, you have to use the unit of gram. So mean here the thing which you have to calculate is yield is as follows. That should be first of all mole of C3H5Cl to the mole of C3H6. Can you see in the slide?
Yes sir, देख रहे हैं.
But because he said we have to report answer in the gram, so due to this I already wrote the gram of C3H5Cl divided by gram of C3H6. So do you know their grams? No. But what do you know? The moles. What were the mole of C3H5Cl in the system? That is amount produced as a result of reaction, and that was only 4.6 moles. Hello, are you guys there?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Understand this?
जी सर।
बाय द वे 4.6 कहाँ से आया है ये वैल्यू?
नहीं सर दिख रहा है लेकिन समझ नहीं आई।
सर मोल से।
सर
मोल है जो कि प्रोड्यूस हुए थे ना रिएक्शन में, जो कि आपको गिवन थे सिस्टम में। तो प्रोडक्ट अमाउंट मोल 4.6 क्वेश्चन में गिवन
मैथ
था।
निकाल है सर ऊपर उनका।
हाँ, तो उसको मल्टीप्लाई किया है मैंने मॉलिक्यूलर वेट से, तो आपके पास
जी सर। ओके है सर।
डिवाइडेड बाय मीन अमाउंट ऑफ C3H6, what was its value? What is mistake here by the way? Can you look it?
से 680.1 होगी।
हाँ 680.1 because mole of C3H6 were 680 at the inlet. So because this is the yield based on mean amount of the product divided by amount of reactant entering to the system, and that reactant was C3H6. He asked us to do calculation based on C3H6, so it was 680. Here it's misprint please. So 680 over 40 multiplied by 42 is its again molecular weight, so you guys will get the gram, moles multiplied by molecular weight. So this is the amount of yield, 0.012 gram of C3H5Cl to the gram of C3H6. The last part was to find the extent of the reaction. What was the extent of reaction 1 and 2? So can you find the extent of these reaction 1 and 2? Hello, can you find the extent? So in the last lecture we already solved two numericals, and I asked you it is better to do or to calculate extent, simple extent, not maximum extent, simple extent based on product. Do you remember this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And what was the reason behind that? I told you guys that the reason is because when you take extent or you find the extent of excess of any reactant, mean extent of any reactant, so that is if you calculate based on product, for product initial number of mole are always 0. So that's the best way to go with this. So extent of first reaction, that is I'm calculating based on HCl. So what were amount of HCl? That was at the outlet 4.6 mole. So Ni is 4.6 minus initial number of mole are 0 divided by its coefficient in the equation, that is 1. This is based on first reaction, so that is 4.6, and extent for the second reaction is different. That will be like based on C3H5Cl2, which was the product in that case. So that amount was also given 24.5, initial mole are 0, and this extent is also 1 in the this stoichiometric coefficient is 1 in the equation, so that is 24.5. That's it. That is the calculation of extent of reaction 2. So any question please?
No sir.
नहीं सर जी, डन है।
डन है। किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो they can stay here. Let me download the attendance, and then anyone who wanna leave can leave.
Yes, sir.
Right, attendance is downloaded, so all those who want to leave, just leave please. But as I already told you, you have this small homework in which you have to search for those reaction in which stoichiometric coefficient is different. If it is different in number of reactions, for example here 2 reactions, the coefficient was same, but if it is different, then how to proceed with maximum extent calculation. Thank you so much. All those who want to leave can leave, and others can ask questions.
Sir.
Okay, Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
सर
जी
सर, आपने जब पहले दिन क्विज के बारे में लिखवाया था तो वो 27 दिसंबर को एक क्विज है, तो अब ऑनलाइन होगा?
नहीं होगा ये।
ओके सर।
सर वो तो छुट्टी नहीं है?
नहीं, अभी वही कह रहा हूँ ना, ऑनलाइन नहीं होगा। जब आप लोग
क्रिसमस की छुट्टियां,
आप लोगों ने आना है मिड और फाइनल
सर।
में टाइम है, तो तब हम क्विज़ेस कंडक्ट करेंगे।
किशमिश।
सर इस न्यूमेरिकल का डी पार्ट दोबारा समझा दें।
जी ओके 45।
सर मुझे भी।
बच्चे लोग ये अब आपको शो हो रही है स्लाइड, फ्रैक्शनल कन्वर्जन की डेफिनेशन बताओगे जरा, ये फार्मूला जो पढ़ा था लास्ट लेक्चर में।
सर मोल्स रिएक्टेड बाय मोल्स इंटर्ड।
हाँ अब ना मोल्स सबसे पहले एंटर्ड, तो आई थिंक उस पर तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है किसी को भी। किस चीज़ की भाई फ्रैक्शनल कन्वर्जन, यहाँ पे 2 रिएक्टेंट हैं, आप एक की कन्वर्जन सिलेक्ट कर रहे हो या कैलकुलेट कर रहे हो, ठीक है, वो है C3H6।
यस सर।
इसके कितने मोल एंटर हो रहे थे सिस्टम में?
680.1।
680.1।
ठीक है। अब एक चीज तो क्लियर हो गई, डिनोमिनेटर आपको क्लियर है। अब जो न्यूमिनेटर साइड है, मोल्स रिएक्टेड, हाउ मेनी मोल्स ऑफ दिस रिएक्टेड, दैट्स मेन रिलेटेड टू दिस, दैट अब कितने मोल्स इसके रिएक्ट किए हैं
सर हम 651 क्यों डिलीट?
बच्चे वो आउटलेट पे अनरिएक्टेड स्पीशीज जा रही है।
अच्छा सही है।
हाँ हसीब, उसका क्वेश्चन तो क्लियर हो गया, आप अपना बताओ।
यस सर क्लियर आ गया।
तो रिएक्ट हो रहे हैं ना, मैंने यहाँ पे ये बताया है। अब मैं वो सोल्यूशन पे वापस जा रहा हूँ। ये मोल्स रिएक्टेड, फर्स्ट रिएक्शन में 4.6 मोल्स आर कंज्यूम्ड, इन द सेकंड 24.5 आर कंज्यूम्ड। और ये मुझे कहाँ से पता चला? ये पिछला पार्ट जब मैंने ए पार्ट सॉल्व किया था, आप लोग ये देख सकते हो, अब सामने है आपके। C3H6 कंज्यूम्ड इन द फर्स्ट रिएक्शन एंड इन द सेकंड रिएक्शन। मैं उसकी बेस पे ये लिख रहा हूँ। यहाँ पे हमने कैलकुलेट किया है ऑलरेडी ए पार्ट को सॉल्व करते हुए, तो जस्ट उसकी ही रेशो ली है। अब मैं जो चीज़ यहाँ बता रहा था कि जिस पे मैंने जब क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किया तो मैंने ओवरऑल रिएक्टेड यूज़ कर लिए हैं, लेकिन जो मुझे अब क्वेश्चन रीड करके यहाँ से लगा है कि वी शुड ओनली यूज़ बेस्ड ऑन फर्स्ट रिएक्शन, उसकी क्या रीज़न है? आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ
सर। क्वेश्चन रिपीट कर सकते हैं?
मैं कह रहा हूँ बेसिकली मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि आपको सिर्फ आंसर इसका लिखना चाहिए 4.6 डिवाइडेड बाई 680। तो 4.6 ही क्यों?
सर उसने कंडीशन लगा दिया विद रिस्पेक्ट टू C3H5Cl के साथ।
हाँ ये वाला जो उसने लिख दिया कि फ्रैक्शनल कन्वर्जन ऑफ C3H6 टू द C3H5Cl, सो दैट मीन्स ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट ओनली फर्स्ट रिएक्शन। जी तो इस वजह से जी क्लियर टू यू गाइस डी पार्ट?
जी सर अब समझ आ गया।
जी और किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन?
सर ये लेक्चर अपलोड हो गया?